We look at our first story. It is a blank page. We have the title, An Island of Our Own, and by J. Wilburn. So let me see if I can tell you a story. Okay, the couple sat in the wooden lifeboat with no life in sight for miles. The horizon was one continuous curve. Want to become rich and famous? Oh, gee, bot, I don't think so today. Let me go ahead and ban you. And then we'll see you later. Thanks for dropping by, though. All right, everybody say goodbye to the bot, and just a billion more to go. All right. The couple sat in the wooden lifeboat with no life in sight for miles. The horizon was one continuous curve around them, with lots of visibility. Okay, let me stop using double words here. With lots of visibility, but nothing to see. Clouds protected them from the punishing sun a little, but they soon blew westward and left the couple cooking on the low benches across from each other. This did not go the way I planned, she said. He laughed a little, but it hurt his throat, and there was nothing to drink except salt water. I don't think this went the way anyone planned. She turned on her seat and scanned the world around them again, seeing nothing new. She sighed and bowed her head again. Even with the heat, he had convinced her they should wear their jackets up over their heads to avoid sunstroke. She put up no argument, but he could tell she was unhappy. Of course, she was. They had every reason to be. If I see anything, I'll tell you, he said. What? If anything comes into sight, I'll tell you. You don't have to keep looking around. Right. Sure, she said. I was kidding. It was a joke. Not a good one. And maybe not the right time. She shrugged. Okay, I don't need a quotation mark there. She shrugged. No, I get it. It was funny. I'm just too tired to put much of anything into laughing. You can lay down and rest. We should probably be doing that anyway. I can't sleep anymore. If I do, I'll be up all night. One of us should be up at night watching for lights. Maybe rescue will come. What do you mean, maybe? He shook his head. No, I mean, we will be rescued. Okay, let me spell that right. We will be rescued. I know we will. I just mean... Alright, let me spell that right. I just mean that a ship might come at night. I'm scared in all this water. More scared at night. Then I'll take the night watch. You should get some sleep then, she said. He shook his head. I can't sleep anymore. The cloud cover thickened. And she dropped the jacket off her head. He was going to tell her they could still get burned even if it was cloudy. But he felt like he was delivering enough bad news. It started to drizzle, which actually felt nice. It started raining a little harder, and and she put her jacket back over her head. Okay, the wind picked up. And waves topped the wooden lifeboat's edge a couple times. The rain and wind grew cold. She moved beside him. Let me make that a new paragraph. Alright, she moved beside him, and they held one another for warmth. Their clothes had not yet dried from the storm that took down the ship the previous night. The storm grew more fierce, and they had to use the bucket tied to the nose of the boat to bail out water. The storm and the bailing continued through the night. Neither of them slept. The rain tapered off, and the next day, okay, we'll say but the next day was only brighter than the night by degrees. The boat stayed relatively dry. It grew cold enough for them to see their breath. Where are we that it's this cold? She asked in puffs of vapor. I don't know. It could be mostly moisture in the air. So I'm imagining being cold. No, it's cold. Hopefully it will pass, and we'll be just as uncomfortably hot as we were yesterday. Her teeth chattered. But alright, try to get some punctuation right here. Her teeth chattered, but she bit down to make them stop. You have a way of seeing the dark lining around a bad situation. He laughed, but it descended into a cough, and he shivered. She held him closer. She held him closer and said, "Lay down with me. The wind might not get us if we're below the edges." She was wrong. Let me just keep that the same paragraph. She was wrong, but they held each other in the cold rain anyway. It did get hot again in the following days, and they did miss the cool weather, a little. He tried to fashion fishing gear out of rope and other items in the boat. He failed. He tried to grab fish out of the water as they swam by. He almost flipped the boat in one enthusiastic grab. Okay, let me put that in a different paragraph. We'll make that paragraph about something else. He almost flipped the boat in one enthusiastic grab. She touched his shoulder, and he stopped trying. They should put food supplies in these boats just in case. She nodded. I think they did. We lost a lot over the side when the pulleys gave way early. I wonder if others on board thought we stole the boat out from under them. She shook her head. But then pressed a fist to her forehead with her eyes closed, as if the movement had hurt. I'm not sure anyone else survived to consider it. I thought we were going to flip all the way over when we fell with the boat like that. Lucky us, she said. Do you wish we had gone down with the others instead of going slowly like this? She patted his hand. And miss the end of our honeymoon after all we saved for it? He chuckled, but then held his head against the pain. We might still get rescued. She held him closer despite the heat. All right. We'll be together either way. Alright. I need to add something in here, otherwise it sounds stupid that they would be dying of thirst when they just went through a long rainstorm. Alright. So they had no food, but they saved a bucket of the rainwater for drinking. And down here, let's say, as the days wore on, they started to wish they had let the boat fill up with water so they'd have more to drink, even if they risked sinking to do so. Eventually, they laid down in the boat together and stayed there. He woke up and noticed it was raining again. Not a lot. Not a lot, but anything would do. He opened his mouth and one precious drop fell in. He actually choked on it when it hit the back of his throat. His throat hurt worse than before. He laughed and tasted blood. Even that made his empty stomach stir. He tried to get up, but couldn't seem to move. He reached for the bucket, but couldn't reach it. Couldn't get it. "Help me," he said. "It's raining." The bucket. She stirred. Her eyes opened, glazed, but then closed slowly. "Stay with me. We need water. Just stay." Eventually, the storm worsened. And they were tossed about. The boat filled with more salt water than fresh. The bucket actually hit him in the head one time, and he woke up to rain streaming down his face. He smiled at that. Cracking the skin over his lips a little more. It was all he could manage. The tide moved the heavy lifeboat in sluggish lurches over the next day. late in the evening, before sundown, they beached, okay, put a comma there, they beached upon the sand. The tide rolled out and left them sitting fully on land. Over time, the boards cracked, and what hadn't evaporated drained out of the bottom. The skeletons held one another in an embrace as the boards splintered and peeled away. Okay, hold on. Splintered and peeled away from one another. The couple sat upon the dunes further inland. They held one another as the skeletons they used to be rested in the remains of the beached lifeboat. What do you want to do today? He asked. Sounds like my computer's trying to take off. Maybe I'm typing too fast. Alright. What do you want to do today? He asked. She shrugged as they watched another sunrise. I don't know. We could just sit here a while longer. We could, he said. Nothing is stopping us from taking a walk, exploring, playing, or anything else the island has to offer. No, nothing stopping us. We could swim, he said. She frowned at that and turned her face to the sun. I don't like that. He put his arm around her and pulled her into his side. She allowed it. No swimming then. Do you regret what happened to us? Do you wish we had been rescued or never set sail at all? I'm just happy we're together, she said. Most honeymoons have to end. Most honeymoons have to end, but we got around that, didn't we? He laughed, and there was not a bit of pain in it. They stayed together and spent that day watching the sun cross the sky. Tomorrow, they could do anything they liked